In 2015, I came across a brother by the name of Charles Tyler, who is no longer living. He passed in later 2017. But through Charles Tyler, I was able to meet, or be introduced rather, to a film maker by the name of Al Grease. Al Grease created a series of documentaries called Frustrated. And the first one, I believe, is the most popular and most well acclaimed. He talks about frustrated black men who go to Brazil. Now, in this video, what you saw were middle to upper middle class to wealthy black men, many of them well-to-do, older, middle age, between 35 and up. These are men who have probably been married before, for whatever reason got tired of having relationships in America. And they were talking about their experiences going to Brazil. They were meeting different women. Women knew their place in society. Women knew how to treat a man. And these brothers were congregating amongst the countries, in that country from the United States, talking about their experience. Now, at the same time, there were some women in the video who were disputing these brothers who were talking about their finding love. They're saying that the women are poor in Brazil. They're saying the women are not educated. And the reason that these women are doing all of these things for these black men is because they're economically poor. They don't have access to education. And if those women had the same access to education that women in the States do, then they wouldn't want these guys. That was pretty much the premise. And for a long time, that was an argument between black men and black women. Even Ebony wrote an article preceding Al Grease's documentary. But now we've come into the year 2019 where that argument is no longer between black women and black men. Now we have a civil war, even in this space called the black manosphere, between black men who travel, and let me be more specific, black men who travel specifically to these countries: Colombia, Brazil, Dominican Republic, the Philippines, Costa Rica, places like that. In other words, places, Thailand, places that are known for prostitution spots. Okay, let's just be honest. And then you have the brothers who may not travel as much, and their argument is, you guys who are traveling to these places, you're doing so because you cannot get women of that same quality, as far as physically rather, in the United States. All right. And there's been a back and forth between certain YouTubers making videos and stuff like this. Now, let's just be honest. The brothers who do travel to these places, Brazil, the DR, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Philippines, Thailand, and I'm being just completely objective here. Some of the things that you hear from this crowd, in the most part, is, yeah, man, I'm tired of American women. Women in America, they feminists. Women in America, they want too much. Women in America, it's things are better overseas. Okay, women treat you much better in Brazil. Women treat you much better in Dominican Republic. Women treat you much better in Colombia. And guys even have YouTube channels. You have guys. Shout out to brothers like Yes Jonas. He just came back from Brazil. You have Mark Hill's TV in Colombia. You have Sasua, Dominican Republic. You have a lot of guys who have channels. Formerly Taylor Made Dreams. He was on there. Guys that made channels that talk about these things that happen overseas or whatever. And a lot of them are transparent, but you do get the hint that they favor these places over the United States, and that this is something that black men should do if interested. All right. The opposite argument of these guys who are in the States, they're saying things like, hey, listen, these women are destitute. They're poor. They're broke. I mean, you're bragging about chicks you get overseas when, in fact, the chicks overseas will do that with anybody. You're not necessarily special, okay? You have money. You have an American passport. She doesn't like you. In fact, you're not you have such low game, you won't bring that chick back to America because you'll know you'll lose her because she'll find out that you are really a bum in real life. The question is, who's right? All right, and I heard that somebody was mentioning my name with a flat top. I'm not gonna go in on the brother, but if I hear it again, you're gonna get this work. I'm somewhere in the middle. All right, I'm somewhere in the middle. There's some guys that just have to keep it real. Okay, what goes on overseas for some dudes and a lot of dudes, you have brothers who are not going to be in a committed relationship in America. And then those brothers could be upset because women don't want to do what they want them to do in the USA. And they can go overseas and they can pay for it. And that's it. And that's pretty much what it is. Okay. And you have some guys who do that in peace. I think the problem comes when you have guys that push that narrative like you can get a better deal overseas. And a lot of guys are saying on the opposite end that, well, if you had game in America, you wouldn't need to go overseas. I think that is a fair argument, okay? That is a fair argument. I'm not saying that it's necessarily right, but it definitely does make the case. It's like if you had the success that you wanted in America, you know, you wouldn't need to go overseas. Look at me. If I got into medical school in the United States, would I have came to Poland? No. I mean, I came to Poland because I had to go to Poland. Now, on the other hand, for the brothers who do travel and have worked hard and afforded themselves to do it, I think they make even a stronger point, or just as strong. Why do you care? All right? Now, for the guys who are not pushing out that propaganda, because I think that I've been to Brazil, right? I don't think it's as hyped up as everybody makes it to be. I think that, you know, for the most part, you can find somebody if you live there. Okay, now let's talk about this before I get to the other point. If you are a brother like Mark Hill TV or Tailor Made and you live in one of these places, sure, you're going to get treated better. I had a chance to stand in Uganda for 40 to 45 days. And let's say if I lived in Uganda, overall, it would be a better deal because it's cheaper, things are cheaper, stuff like the economy, whatever. Okay, I get it. But here's the thing that I want to know. Why do a lot of guys even care? And I think that's the travel community's point of view. All right. Why do you care? And I'm talking about the brothers who are not putting that propaganda out there. Because there are brothers who are putting that propaganda out there. And if you put it out there, like Brazil is so much better, the DR is so much better, people have the opportunity to challenge you on those things. But for those brothers who are not doing that and they're just going over there for the fun, let them do it, right? Here's the situation. Overseas, and most people know this, and if you don't, women in other places, Dominican Republic, Brazil, all right, even in certain spots in Africa, listen, man, the women are much more gorgeous and in abundance with more willing attitudes. That's just the case, all right? Nobody can argue that. Whether a woman is giving you some of that, you know what, or is it just a woman that's serving you tea at a coffee restaurant or women passing by? Women are in more of their natural elements, okay, in the DR, right? A lot of brothers go there to relax. Not everybody's going over there to just bang, bang, bang every day, right? It's just the ambiance. Black men have feelings too. And being around women who are in their natural culture, being around women who are really beautiful but probably don't know they're beautiful because the beauty standard is so high in those places, it's a good feeling. And a lot of brothers can feel like, wow, my worth, you know, because in America it's competitive, right, to get very, very good-looking chicks. Because, you know, good-looking women in America know that they're good-looking. Good-looking women in Germany or good-looking women in Poland or good-looking women in South Africa, they might not know it as much, all right? Because there's a lot of good-looking women in the DR. It's a lot of good-looking women in Brazil. So you tend to find a woman who is in more of her natural element. And those women that come out of those societies, they are more, they do treat men better. And for a lot of brothers, it's a first-time experience. Now, let me tell you this. I'll be honest. For some guys who travel, they may be able to get, sex in America. They may have relationships in America. But see, just because a woman lays down to have sex with you doesn't mean that she's trained to treat you nice. And overseas, it's a culture for women to be more submissive to their men. In America, you pretty much have to fight in a lot of cases to break a woman's social conditioning. And to defend the brothers that do go overseas, it's for a lot of other reasons. Outside of that just happens to be it to a certain degree. But hey, you're dealing with a woman who has been trained to like you by her society, trained to respect you by her society. A lot of brothers like that. Okay? But also at the same time, we do have some brothers out there gaslighting it as if those places are so great, because the thing about it is this, and I'll use Information Man's argument. If women overseas are so much better, then by the time you get over there, they shouldn't be available. Shouldn't they be single? Shouldn't they be wiped up? I mean, how many horror stories have we heard about, women sending guys certain photos, getting money out of them, acting like they're in the hospital and stuff like that? So I think that really it's kind of neck and neck, right? I really think that it is in certain degrees. I think the advantage that guys overseas has is if you live overseas, I mean, obviously you don't have to go through any Me Too movements out there. You don't have to go through any of that kind of stuff. It is more relaxed. And if you happen to live overseas, then you're winning. Okay, if you keep your same, kind of money and stuff like that. And it's a new experience for brothers. So I'm kind of in the middle of everything. But guys, let me know what you think about this whole PassportGate debate. Do you think that the brothers are hating because some brothers are traveling and they are not? In some cases, I know there's one YouTuber, I think that's the case with him. Okay, there's a certain YouTuber who said that he hasn't. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's certain guys who can't travel and they are upset. I think that number is very few, but you do have that percentage of brothers out there that are upset that brothers are doing things. And if they could do it, they would do it themselves. Sure, that sort of jealousy does exist. You will not hear anything different from me. But let me know in the comments, guys. PassportGate. Are brothers hating on other brothers who are traveling and doing things? Shout out to everybody. I need to watch one Master Teacher's video. I think he had one on this. But guys, let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.